What's happening, guys? Jim the Game Guru. Okay, today's video I want to get into 30 shoot 'em ups. These are type games that are commonly called shmups. So if you've ever heard the term shmups out there in the video game world, that stands for shoot 'em ups. Now in this list, I've decided to kind of mix it up a little bit. I have a few games here on this list that are twin stick shooters. I have a few of them that are spaceship titles. I have a few of them that are run and gun. So I'm trying to basically mix a bunch of titles here. The main theme of this video though is to have games where they're very arcade style and you just shoot until you kill everything in your path. Before I get to the list though, I do want to go over the Metroid Dread giveaway. I have randomly selected the Metroid Dread giveaway winner. They have elected not to have their name revealed in the video. If you see an email from me, then you know you are the winner of Metroid Dread. Please check your spam folder and any other place where email could possibly go that's not visible in your inbox. I will have another giveaway in December, and the giveaway for that Switch title in December is going to be the most popular vote, the most popular game that was voted for in the Metroid Dread giveaway, because one of the things I do in my giveaways is I have a question that says, hey, what game would you like to see in the next giveaway? So the one that is the most popular vote on that is going to be the game that's going to be given away in December. Okay, so the first game on the list is Cryptical. This game is a game that's kind of hidden in the eShop. It is a very, very simplistic game where you have this king and his treasures, and the treasure ends up falling through the floor because apparently something has broken through the floor and let all the treasure fall down. And then you have these little knights that go down to try to retrieve the treasure. This game is a twin stick shooter, and it's very, very simple and very arcade-like, where you go through room to room. There are bosses. It is very kind of roguelike because as you finish a run, then additional items will be unlocked for your next run. I do like the pixel art in this game, and the gameplay is actually pretty solid. It is a cheap title. It's about $10, so don't expect much for the game for a $10 price point. I wish the gameplay was a little faster. I feel like sometimes it's a little on the slow side when it comes to the moving and shooting, but I'm actually enjoyed myself with it. It's a fun little arcade title. Second game on the list is Skyforce Reloaded. I feel like this is one of the best spaceship shooters you can find. It is a little grindy though when you get to the point where your ship has a lot of upgrades and then you have to pay for the higher tiered upgrades. But as far as the visuals go, beautiful. The shooting is good. The gameplay is good. It's got a bunch of bosses in the game. There's different things you try to achieve where every time you go into every single level, you try not to get hit, or you try to kill every single enemy on the screen, or you try to rescue all of the people on the screen, like the little survivors that are on the ground. So this game is really, really fun. And you can also discover new ships, which is really cool, and you have to find and discover little parts for the ships, but that does take a while because it's hard to get those ship items, because every time you get those ship items you need to survive the level. Third on the list is Aqua Kitty DX and Astro Aqua Kitty. These are two titles that involve cats in water. They're in water, little submarines. The Astro Aqua Kitty is on an asteroid where it has water inside the asteroid, and the Aqua Kitty DX is more in your home world where you try to prevent little aliens from coming down and grabbing your kittens. Aqua Kitty plays more like Defender. If you've ever played the old classic Defender title, it's very much like that type of a game. Astro Aqua Kitty, they expanded it a little bit more to include characters. You have like engineers, you have pilots, and you also have like these little mini quests as you go around a map to try to find things and open up other parts of the map. Fourth game on the list is Assault Android Cactus. Man, this game is awesome. It is one of the best shooters I have played. A 4-player co-op in this game. In this game, you have androids that are on the ship. You try to find the source of this evil AI. There's like 5 different sectors that you go through, and each sector has multiple levels. The shooting is great. I mean, each android has 2 weapons. You have a primary and a secondary. Action is furious. And it has this feeling like a lot of the older Sega arcade-style games. Just the way the voices are, the way the sound effects are. And I absolutely love this game. The only negative aspect to this game is that it's so short. It is so short. I feel like I blew through the main campaign of this game instantly. And when you replay the game, like when you replay the levels, you're basically going for a higher score. I haven't noticed any real secrets to discover yet in the game. So it is very short, but it is a fantastic title. Fifth on the list is Mextermination Force. This game is basically like a platforming run and gun. Well, I wouldn't say run and gun, more like platforming shooter with kind of like a boss rush aspect to it. Because every level, all you're doing is you're fighting a huge boss, a huge ginormous robot, and you need to find out its weak points and shoot its weak points until you destroy the core components. It does look a little cheesy when you look at the graphics, but overall, this game is really, really fun. Sixth game on the list is Rive Ultimate Edition, another fantastic title. In this game, you're a protagonist that is inside of like this spider spaceship, and you get there's parts in this game where you're actually crawling around like as a spider shooting things, and then there's parts where you're actually flying in midair. You can do things like alter gravity, you can actually hack other robots. Action is intense, and some of these levels in this game are really, really hard. The graphics, I feel like, are really, really sharp. Protagonist is kind of very generic, but overall a really good shooter. Seventh game on the list is Dystropolis. This one is a really cheap game. It's about $5. There's not much to it. I mean, all you do is you're in this kind of cubed city, very plain vanilla graphics. It's like the city buildings are just white geometric shapes. You're like this little prism that goes around, and you're shooting these evil red geometric shapes that are closing in and following you. And the only goal of this game is to go as far as you can. See how far you can go, what level you can upgrade to. This does have full co-op on there, and I believe for 3 or 4 players. So not much to this title, but for $5, it could give you a couple hours of entertainment. Eighth game on the list is Grid Retro Enhanced. Now, this is a very interesting game. This game kind of reminds me, if you took like Wipeout, the racing game, you took that and you make it a shooter, and then you crossbreed it with Tron. It feels like Tron Wipeout shooter, if you can actually get your mind around that. Really cool game, really cool visuals. You're kind of on this single track, and as you're flying on this single track, you have to end up shooting enemies and obstacles in front of you. Ninth game on the list is Boschers DX. Now this one is for people that love old computer type games, like old Tandy games, old Commodore 64 games, and you are a protagonist that gets sent out into Mars, and then what happens is you find out it's a slave camp for a lot of people on Mars. You kind of breaking out, you're shooting things around, and you have different types of shooting levels. There's some where you're where it's top down, and then there's some that are side view, either going vertical or going left to right horizontally. I absolutely like the game. I think it has a great charm, but then again, I have a lot of nostalgia for old computer titles, and that's what this game does. So if you don't know things like the Commodore 64 or the old Tandy computers or old Atari stuff, you may not like this game because it has that kind of vibe. 10th on the list is a very, very popular title, a run and gun, and that is Cuphead. It is from the beautiful relationship between Microsoft and Nintendo now, where Microsoft is bringing over a lot of their titles, where you're two characters that have lost their soul to the devil based on a casino game, and you have to go and repay your debt. And what you do is you go through different levels, and you end up fighting these big bosses. The graphics are amazing. They're like this kind of old 1930s cartoon look, and it is challenging. This game is really, really tough. It is full 2-player co-op. The 11th game on the list is Broforce. Now, this one was a surprise for me. This one was better than I actually thought. When I saw the trailers and I saw some of the videos on it, I'm like, oh my god, this is probably so stupid. But it actually turned out to be a really, really fun game. This is more of a platforming shooting game. where you are these bros, and you go through these levels, and you just shoot dudes. You shoot dudes, xenomorphs, a little devil in a suit at the very end of each level. And it's so funny because there's certain parts where these bros get unlocked and they come out, and like these guys from the old TV shows and movies like RoboCop, MacGyver, Chuck Norris, Rambo, all these old dudes, but they made them bros in this game. So every time they unlock, I always bust out laughing. And every single one of the characters that you end up playing have different types of abilities. And you can even be Wesley Snipes from Blade, which is really cool. And in that character, actually, you're using a sword. But awesome game. Way better than I thought. This game does go on sale a lot too. I mean, there's times where you can pick it up for like $3. 12th game on the list is Earth Atlantis. Now, this one is a very classic style shmup game, but it's got some different visuals. It's got more of like this wireframe kind of drawing visuals where you're underwater and the entire Earth has been covered with water, and all you see is in the water is like ruins, and you go through and you shoot a bunch of like aquatic looking robotic life. I mean, overall the game plays well. It is a very classic shooter, so it doesn't offer a whole lot of differences or variation compared to other games besides the visuals. And there's one other thing that really annoys me about this game is that sometimes you get stuck in the level and you can't find your way out. Because of the way the visuals are, it's very hard to know where you've been and where you need to go. I do feel like this game is definitely one of those games that goes on sale a lot. Is it worth picking this title up versus, a lot of the other titles that are on the list? Probably not, but it is a little different. It might be something good to pick up, like if it goes on sale for like $2 or something. 13th game on the list is Inferno 2. Inferno 2, I've already had this on many other videos before this video. It is one of my favorite shooter games because of two different things. One, it's really cheap. It's like $5. The second reason why I love it is because the game is very chill. It's a very chill shooter. It's got this cool, very drum and bass kind of sound. I find myself just having my brain go numb whenever I play it and just sit there and just kind of zone out and just shoot geometric shapes. Every level's got this neon kind of geometric shapes that come after you, and you just have to shoot them up. And then eventually you get to places where you can actually defeat bosses. This game does have 2-player co-op in it, but if you're looking for a cheap shmup, I highly recommend Inferno 2. 14th game on the list is Dimension Drive. Dimension Drive is very interesting. It's got really good graphics. It has interesting gameplay because you have two sides of the screen that you can actually navigate your ships. A left side and a right side, and you can kind of teleport between each side. It is full 2-player co-op. 15th on the list is XMorph Defense. Now this one is interesting because it's a tower defense mixed with a shmup. So you're an alien race, you crash into Earth, and what happens is you have this harvester that's on Earth, and you need to protect it. You set up a defense grid, and you have to defend against the oncoming onslaught from these Earth forces. Very, very, very interesting, and the graphics are super awesome in this. And I love like some of the enemy characters look really wicked in it. This game goes for, I believe, around mid-20s for price point, but it goes on sale a lot. So do not buy this game at full price because it goes on sale a lot for about a $4 price tag. And there are actually a few expansions for this that I was actually kind of surprised. I had the base game. I did not know that they actually added a couple of DLCs for the title. 16th game on the list is something I haven't played yet, but it's been on my wish list for a long time, and I just haven't had the drive to really buy it, and that is Blue Rider. It's a much cheaper shmup title. It's one that has this kind of interesting 360 kind of rotation to it, and it goes on sale for about $2 a lot. I mean, I think I've seen this every time a big sale hits. This game is usually on there. I have not played it yet, so I don't have any really insight into what the game is like. I do like its interesting 360-degree movement on it. Let me know in the comments if you've picked this up on sale, if it's any good. So 17th on the list is Ikaruga. Okay, this one, older title that has been on many other different consoles. I've actually played this on an older console. I have not picked it up for the Switch yet, but it is an absolutely fantastic game. It's different than a lot of other shooters out there because you power up your weapons on your ship differently, and there's this interesting polarity thing when you're shooting your enemies. It has a cult following behind it, is actually regarded as one of the best shmup titles out there, but it is different than a lot of shmup titles when it comes to upgrading and shooting. So that's one thing going into this game you're going to have to realize is that you're going to have to get used to the way this game is as far as its mechanics. 18th on the list is Darius HD, and then any other Darius game you can think of, like Darius Cosmic Collection is another one. On this video, I'm actually showing Darius HD, but Darius is very common in the world of shooter shmups. There are so many Darius games in previous consoles and video game history. These types of games are very classic shooter types. Your spaceship, you're going through levels, you're shooting things, you're shooting bosses, and you move on to the next level until the very end when you kill the super granddaddy boss and it's over. So 19th game on this is Shenmue EX. What a beautiful shooter. It's very classic formula as far as the shooters go, but it has incredible visuals and it's got this really unique kind of time-stopping ability. The way I feel about this title is I feel like it's classic shmup, but just very refined. Kind of like a bottle of wine. You either drink a cheap bottle of wine, or you go for a refined bottle of wine. It is an expensive title, though. It goes for about $30. I feel like $30 for a shmup title is kind of on the steep side. And the game rarely ever goes on sale. I've actually picked this title up when I had my Shield TV and played it on there. I've yet to pick it up on the Switch because I'm waiting for it to go on another sale. I think I've only seen this game on sale twice ever since it's been released on the Switch. 20th game on the list is RType Dimensions EX. This is a reboot of the classic RType games. It has RType 1 and 2. I used to play the crap out of RType way back in the day on the Genesis and even in the arcades. I remember when I was young in my bowling leagues, when I wasn't bowling, I would go to the arcade that was in the bowling center. One of the games that I played was RType. This is a complete reboot, kind of remastered, clean graphics, same type of games. 21st game on the list is Raiden 5. Just like Darius, classic formula, spaceship shooters, upgrading your ships, going through levels, shooting enemies, shooting boss, and you're done. 22nd game on the list is Rival Megagun. Alright, so Rival Megagun, this one is very, very interesting. I have not purchased this one yet, but it looks interesting because it has this PvP aspect to the game, where player 1 could be on the left side, player 2 on the right side, and what happens is you're shooting enemies on the board, and then you're also messing up your opponent on the other side. It kind of reminds me of like Puyo Puyo Tetris and Crystal Crisis. Those games are kind of block games. In this case, instead of it being a Tetris game, it's a shooter. It's a shmup that you're competing against each other, and you can actually negatively damage the other player on the other side by doing better on your side. And then there's this really cool thing where one of the players can actually transform and turn into like a boss character and go to the other person's board and then end up fighting them. I think that is absolutely unique. I love the pixel art in this game as well, and I think one day I'm going to end up picking this up. 23rd on the list is Jets and Guns 2. Again, another classic formula shmup title. The visuals look absolutely amazing. This kind of brings me back to the Thunder Force days. I used to play Thunder Force 3 a lot on the Sega Genesis. I don't know, for some reason, this one kind of brings me back to those days. But yeah, Jets and Guns 2, very cheap title too. It goes for about $10. 24th on the list is Velocity 2X. This is a very unique shooter where you have a ship that's going through the levels as normal, and you can kind of teleport your ship in a way. It's kind of like, almost like a dash teleport on the different parts of the boards in order to collect different items. And then you get to these certain little bases where your main protagonist and the ship jumps out, and then they're all kind of like a side-scrolling platforming shooting. So you have two different types of shooter in this game. This game has actually had a lot of accolades. So the next 6 titles, I believe, in this list are ones that I have not picked up, but I've had them on my radar, and I cannot wait to dig into some of these. So 25th on the list is Airheart Tales of Broken Wings. This one is a roguelike shooter where you have multiple levels kind of stacked on top of each other. And what you need to do is you need to go as far as you can by raising your aircraft to the next level. You can upgrade your aircraft. It's got this unique kind of 360-degree motion as far as your movement, because a lot of shmups will actually try to control the environment. They'll control the scrolling of wherever you're located. And this one looks like it's a little bit more free-floating, free movement. I love the trailer in it. I think the trailer, they did a great job. I'm not sure how much story there is in this game, but it looks like you can collect different airplanes. And I just like the unique aspect of you going from one level in the sky to the next level in the sky, and you keep going until you can get to the very top. 26 on the list is Jet Lancer. This has got some really interesting pixel art. The thing that I like about this game is that it's got a lot of dogfighting in it. So you have this area, the certain amount of sky area and ground area, and you have to keep your ship up in the air and prevent it from crashing and dogfight and move in the air as you're shooting enemies. And I really like that. I don't think there's any other shmup or shooter that I've ever seen that has that type of mechanic. 27th on the list is something completely different. It's got like this weird abstract visuals. It's Colt Canyon. Colt Canyon has this kind of pixel art where you're these characters in this Western theme, and you're running around and you're shooting each other. It looks interesting. I did not notice this title until recently when I was kind of digging and doing some research on what other titles could be out there besides the ones in my library. And when I came across this one, I'm like, wow, that looks really cool. Very, very unique. 28th on the list is Tesla versus Lovecraft. Here we have another twin stick shooter. Beautiful visuals. My God, I love the lighting in this. It's very neon, and you're kind of like in this arena where there's a bunch of enemies that are coming after you. It does use this like Lovecraft theme, and I don't know what it is about Lovecraft, but it drives me crazy. I'm just not a big fan of Lovecraft themed stuff, whether it's board games or video games or whatever. They always turn me off for some reason, but I am a huge fan of twin stick shooters, and this one looks like it could be a fun twin stick shooter. When this game hits a huge sale, I think I'm definitely going to give this one a try. 29th on the list is Trigger Witch. Talk about an absurd theme. Witches with giant guns. Here you are, you're a witch, and you have like Uzis and AK-47s, grenade launchers, or whatever. How absurd can you get? And the enemies in this game look so bad. They look so bad. But man, this game could be fun. I don't know. And the only reason why I say that is because I love twin stick shooter. I am a sucker for twin stick shooter. Just like I said on the previous game, I'm just a sucker for twin stick shooters. And one day I'll probably dip into this when it hits a low sale price. But yeah. If you like pixel art and you like witches with guns and running around just shooting weird enemies, here you go, Trigger Witch. And the last game on the list, the 30th game on the list, is Garage. This game came out a long time ago. It's one that I had on my radar, but I kind of slipped off of it. Didn't reappear until recently when I was about to put this video together. It's kind of got a little bit of a horror element. It kind of reminds me of Hotline Miami. And it's got like this old style CRT lines kind of visual effect on it. I don't know how I feel about this one. I mean, parts of this I think look really cool because I dig twin stick shooter, but then parts of this makes me go, it is an option out there. If you've ever played Garage and it's actually really good, please let me know in the comments. I'm kind of curious to see if it's actually a good title. But that's it. Wow. There you go. 30 titles that involve shoot and kill, shoot and destroy. Twin stick shooters, some running guns, a lot of spaceship style classic shmup games. But a lot of these have unique type of mechanics to them, unique visuals. And if you guys like this video, please like, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye guys.